Cool.
So, that being said, what's the what's the real fight here, man? What are we fighting against, in your opinion?
What are we fighting against?
Who is
I think
the enemy that is stopping us from making these strides forward?
I think the important question, if we focus on who we fighting against, I think we should focus on who or what are we fighting for. Because if you're fighting for the right thing, it don't matter who's against you. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes we get so caught up about the systems and this is keeping me down. Who are you fighting for? If you have a spiritual base, are you fighting for the Creator? Are you fighting for your family? You know, as a parent, if something's happening to my daughter, it don't matter who you are or who's against me, they're gonna have a problem on their hands. And I think when you start focusing on having something to fight for, I think we'll start to change. The mentality starts to shift, because then it's about our goal, and we've got to be goal orientated, goal driven, and we've got to stand on something or for something. And when you stand for something, if the cause is great enough, then whoever stands against you, or it becomes a moot point at that. Right. So that's my take on your question.
Yeah. So, and I agree, you know, when we actually get to that point, you know what I'm saying? Like when we get to that point where we're ready, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you know what we're fighting for, you know, I like to think, man, to be honest, that we already know. We already know that it's so much information going on around. We know so much more now about past, present, future. Conspiracy theories are coming true. Like we're in the age of truth. And yet, it seems like there's something, for whatever reason, internally, we like we know, everything you're talking about, we know, and we all see it. We all see what's going on. We just are not doing nothing. And that's my opinion, you know what I'm saying? Like, I completely agree with you saying, you know, I just don't think we are doing nothing. And in my personal experience, you know, in my opinion, I feel like it's fear, you know, more like a fear of loss. You know, you have the fear of losing something, or, you know, may not be. That also goes into, you know, besides things like family and stuff like that, we're afraid to lose like material things. My mind is out there, you know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of things should happen, you know what I mean? I think a lot of us should, like you said, should change the way we move with each other, you know? Spiritually, we should change, you know? And when I really started focusing in on my life, you know, I started to let go of certain things that I feel will withhold my soul from moving forward, you know, and I think that's more of where I'm getting at, you know. I completely 100% agree with what you're saying. I just think, I think we see it all. I think we know what we're fighting for. I think we know what we should be fighting for, and I think we know who our enemy is. I'm trying to figure out why we not striving to get there, you know what I mean? Maybe we're just too distracted. You know, maybe we're, you know, we trying to chase the bag a little bit too much. You know, we want this, you know, maybe these higher ups, these elites, maybe they mapped out a plan since we've been here so perfectly that we can't even get outside of our own thing, you know, and now all they gotta do is sit back and watch us destroy ourselves, you know what I'm saying? I feel like they're at a point now where they can throw anything they want at us, and we just gonna take it to the chin. But we got to wake up tomorrow and go back to work and make that money so we could pay them back. You know what I mean? Like an example, the Epstein files came out. The whole world wanted to see what was going on. Let's see what's going on. And I feel like whoever gave the okay to put it out there was like, you know what, give it to them. We got these fools trapped anyways. You know what I mean? We got them locked up in our system. You know what I mean? And let's give it to them. You know what I mean? And see what they're gonna do about it. And then they did. And it's like a punch to the chin. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna wake up. You're gonna go to that same business that has that CEO that was in them files, and you're gonna make sure he gets richer. You know, there's gonna be another government official that you're gonna vote for. There's gonna be some entertainment, some rapper or an actor. You're gonna see their next movie. A rapper, you're gonna go to his next concert. You're gonna buy his next album. You know, there's something that's missing, like. And maybe there's no answer for it, you know what I mean? But something needs to be answered, you know what I mean? Like, I'm actually getting kind of quite angry talking about it, you know what I mean? Because I just feel like we getting played in our face, you know what I'm saying? Like we really getting played, and it's like we got so much power, like you said, you feel me? We got so much. Everything come from us. We got so much, even I'm talking about brown people too. We got so much power, so much influence. We got the right anger. Maybe we're not angry enough. That's also my opinion. I feel like we just not mad enough. I feel like you know, if you get beat up by a bully and he hitting you every day, you know what I'm saying? I feel like we ain't had that day where we just like, God, fuck, man. Like, excuse me, like I'm tired of this, bro. And one day, you know, you face your bully. You don't care if he gonna knock you out or not. You just like, hey, bro, I gotta get you. You know what I mean? Because at this point, you misunderstand. You must, because I done been bullied by somebody I thought I could beat up. For whatever reason, my mental kept me like from pursuing them, you know what I mean? I grew up with my aunties and uncles as Bloods and Crips, you know what I'm saying? I grew up with them, you know, but yeah, when I was a kid, I let this little kid bully me. But in my mind, I'm like, dude, I can destroy you. But for some reason, you got some mental power over me, and it's causing me not to move forward on you, you know? And I always lived with it, and I feel like that's what we're going through today. So I believe that we know. I believe they're putting the information to us on purpose so that we can know, and then they still think we still not gonna do nothing about it. So that's why I asked, like, what is it? Like, you know, what's up with our mental? Maybe we just been conditioned.
Well, I think you know, one thing that you said earlier, where you said that you felt like we were in the era of truth. And just to slightly push back on that, I think we're in the era of great deception. Everything on the internet isn't always what it seems. And a lot of times, you know, without a solid foundation in education, it's very easy to trick somebody. Even if you look at AI and stuff now, just think of what the AI that the average citizen has the ability to utilize for free or for a small fee. You got to remember that software and stuff, the government has it 10 years before it actually comes out. So a lot of things, the imagery and things that they see, we don't always know what we're seeing, you know, and you really got to take something that you're seeing, put it in historical context, put a little common sense to it, and then kind of formulate what your opinion is on it. Because, you know, I study a lot of marketing just as a business owner. We understand how to play off of human emotions, varies the colors that we use when we advertisement, the fonts, how I word stuff, what words I put up. Even when you post this video, what you put in the caption as the description will dictate somebody scrolling whether they're going to stop and watch the video. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of gamemanship playing through the internet and just through life, and we seeing it on every single level. So it requires us to really educate ourselves. Really, I think being free is going to truly free in the sense of I have my time, I'm free, I'm not restrained to a job, I don't need your job. I'm free, I have land, and I have the type of land that you can't take back from me, which is different. That's not just buying a house. That's because if you don't pay the taxes on the house is gone. So there's things that we need to be putting in place. There's educating yourself, finding the right schools to educate yourself, seeking out not just the correct books, the correct information. I think the younger generation has disconnected from the elders, that we've dismissed that they don't know what they're talking about when you know, they've been our age, but we've never been their age.
Right.
And they've lived through things that we think we're not going to experience again, but we are. They just changed the name on it.
Yeah.
They just changed how they present it to you, but it's still the same game. The game ain't changed, it's just how they present it to you. So I think all of those factors have to change. I think we have to connect back with our elders. And with our ancestors from a spiritual standpoint, but with our elders, everybody's got to start listening to each other, and everybody has to start. We have to get the family unity back. When you say somebody's scared or apprehensive about fighting back or doing something, well, it's difficult. You know, especially if you're talking about somebody that's never been homeless. If somebody's been homeless, they ain't as afraid to be homeless again because they know, well, I'll go there because I know I can come back for them.
I think that's the reason why I talk like that.
Yes.
That's my mentality.
Well, that's why I was saying earlier, I haven't walked in your shoes, and so I can't speak to your journey. Something else may get, but that doesn't mean that I don't have that same, I just don't pull from the pot. You pulling, I'm pulling from something over here.
I got you. Yeah,
but
sure.
When we talk together and come together, now we understand each other because we're extending, okay, I have my own personal traumas, you got your trauma's trauma. Let's just bond to say that we both hurting, and let's go direct that to where it needs to go instead of just saying, well, you know, yours wasn't as bad as mine. And you get that a lot, but I think how I function, my life and the things that I built, it starts with the plan.
Right.
It starts with the plan. It starts with discipline. We don't have discipline. We don't even boycott right. Yeah, you know, we throw a boycott 5 minutes later, somebody like, man, I'm going to, man, I'm not doing that. But then, you know, we're having boycotts. I talk to my friends all about that. I don't know whether they're doing this out in California, but they were boycotting Target.
Yeah.
And I was just like, but Target sells a lot of black stuff. They employ a lot of black people. So what happens when we boycott them? Are those black people that work for Target going to lose their jobs? What about all of the merchandise that they sell that come from black companies? You're going to bankrupt those companies. Now, I don't know what the answer is, but I'm just saying things aren't as simple as things are interwoven, and there's a lot of complex things to it. And I think the question should be about controlling your dollars, not about boycotting something, especially when that store sells the very thing we need, which is black businesses and jobs. The answer could have been, let's go build our own Target, and let's take those vendors that are selling in Target. We got to give them another outlet so they don't lose money, so they can keep flourishing. And those people that work for Target, we got to get them another job, because you just can't boycott the business and then they fire people. And now what? You know, so I'm not saying that the boycott is wrong. I'm just saying we got to think a little, because the enemy is playing the game on a higher level and on a higher frequency, and we can't. What happened? The boycotts of the '60s are not going to work anymore.
Right.
And if you're telling me I can't go in the store, you ain't stopping me from getting on their website and ordering online. Is that still a boycott, or what? And if we stop going to Target, does that mean now we going to Sam's Club or Walgreens? Are they better than Target? The same people. Don't be confused by the name on the corporation. It's all the same people. You just driving the money from Target to Walgreens. What does Walgreens do? Now you making Walgreens rich. Right. So it just gets complicated, man, and you know. So
I'm gonna ask you a little small question. And I don't want it to venture off. So the Target thing, right? I don't know exactly what the name of it was, but essentially, I guess something was passed to say like they don't have to hire you like just because you are another race, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
With that being said, do you feel like that was passed because Donald Trump passed it, right? Or something like that?
I don't think he passed it. I think he took it away. I think it came with the Biden administration, if I'm not mistaken. I am not a political scientist, so don't quote me on this.
I got you. So do you think that happened to expose racism or because
I think
more racism? Like to expose the people who are racist, like if they happen to fire people that you know, or do you feel like it was just some?
I believe I think it was the DEI stuff, I believe. I'm not sure if I have the acronym correct. But I think, again, as I was speaking earlier, there's a lot of misconceptions about it. I think a lot of people thought that program was solely hiring black folks, but it's not. We weren't the highest demographic that was benefiting from that group. But the media start pulling on our heartstrings and feeding into us caring about it more than I personally think that we should have. I think for our community, we need to be focused on building for ourselves and stop, as long as we're worrying about, like as a business owner personally, I don't want the government telling me I gotta hire this person or that person.
Right.
I hire who I want to hire. And now you've been to my school, you see who's employed here. But what if they made me hire something else? So it cuts both ways, and we can't just have it one way or the other way. I think the answer is build your own, and then who cares whatever that they do. I mean, we're caring about stuff because we don't have our own. And instead of focusing on growing our own, we're trying to get institutions to control businesses. But we keep forgetting we live in a capitalist country. They will sell everything they don't care.
Yeah.
So as long as you got money, you can buy whatever it is you want to buy. And we're generating trillions of dollars a year, and nobody's making us spend it nowhere else. We're choosing, but we want to go fight and change the government, change Walgreens, change. We don't have to do all of that. I don't get wrapped up in it. That's why I'm not knowledgeable about the
I got you.
I see the stuff on the news. I'm aware of what it is, but I'm not going to consume my life around it because I have a business right here. I'm growing it. It's for my people. I hire my people. I pay my people with my people's money, and I'm circulating in that. What's more? What else I got to worry about? All I need to worry about is making this bigger so I can help more and more and more and more of us. And I mean, we need to know what's going on outside, but
at the same time,
how much do you want it to consume you? Because it's taking you away
taking you from your own little.
That's why I said earlier, we got to have a goal. What's the goal? Right. If the goal is to build our own, then we're not worried about.
We need to have something to focus on.
What somebody else is doing, right? Exactly. It becomes 100%. Less important. If we're scared about them coming and physically taking us, part of growing your own is creating an army. We need to be in martial arts schools. We need to be learning about doctors. We need to learn how to defend ourselves. But we're putting our kids in basketball programs and kids so that they can go entertain who? when we can't even protect what we have.
That's big facts.
And then we're having conversations about, men ain't men no more, and this ain't that no more. Well, are you equipping your young man to know how to defend his family when the time comes? Are you giving him these basic skills? There are things that every nation needs, and one of them is a defense, is an army. There's not a nation around that don't have an army. And I'm not advocating anybody go fight. I'm just saying you have to there hasn't been a war in a long time. Well, I shouldn't say that, because there's a war over in Russia and in the Ukraine. I'm just saying, you don't see that. Sometimes an army is just a deterrent to tell you, you're not going to walk over here and just take my stuff. Right. And but you got to start there. But we've got to equip. Our men need to learn basics on how to defend ourselves. Our women need to learn how many women are cooking. And I don't want to get in. I'm not in with the feminist movement and trying to do. I'm not. But there's certain things that we just need to learn how to do to survive. Mm-hmm. Whether you become a chef or you cook every night is a whole nother issue. But you got to learn how to feed yourself. You have to learn how to protect yourself. Right. You got to learn how. And if you can learn how to educate yourself, then what else are you looking for that you need? Because I just need to protect myself and feed myself and keep myself healthy. And if I can do those three things, what else? Because if I can educate myself, I can put a roof over my head. If I can educate myself, I know how to make money. I know how to save money. I know how to multiply money. But all of that stuff comes with education. So if I can get those three things, what else do we need?
So
other than discipline,
Yes. So if we don't take these strides forward as a group of people, where do you feel like we're heading to if we don't do this?
I don't think. I think what's going on in this country and other capitalist society is the enlarging of the wealth gap, and I think that we need to, if we don't start understanding and controlling what's really important, yes, there are racists around, but most of the openly racist people that you're going to have a physical conflict, half of them got less than what we have. We're not talking about the people that we need to worry about are billionaires. You ain't gonna run into them. And if they want to do something with you, they're gonna send a bomb while they 10,000 miles away. Like, you're not going to be confronted with that but I think pulling your resources, if we don't, we'll just get more, it's gonna get worse where we are now. This wealth gap is going to keep growing, and the have-nots are going to get more aggressive against the middle class, because they're not going to be able to touch the higher class, because they're going to be up on the mountain and they're going to be having a police force blocking off. It's going to be difficult for you to get to them. So it'll be more of the same, and they'll find better ways of doing it. So we've got to really. That's why I said education, discipline, and we just got to stay focused. But if we don't, we're going to end up not being able to afford houses, because I don't know how it is in California, but here, man, the cost of houses is going up. Man, it's by leaps and bounds. The interest rates, it's making it almost impossible within the next 5 or 10 years for the average person to even afford a house, assuming that you want to buy a house. You may not be able to afford one, and unless you got 3 people that's going to go in and y'all going to have to chip in. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's where it's almost there now. Mm-hmm. In certain countries, so.
Nah, California's expensive.
Yeah, I think we'll see more of the same. I think our food supply is going to get shorter and shorter and shorter. I think there'll be more and more food deserts in major cities. I think it's going to be harder for you to find good, healthy food. I think these things are going to get worse and worse and worse as we cut down landfills, as we as we make farming industry is really taking a big hit. Most people aren't paying attention to it. Most people are eating processed and fake foods, and this is not a racial issue. This is an American problem. If you're over here, you're eating bad food. Even if you call yourself eating all fruits and vegetables, most of it are you getting organic and non-GMO. Most people don't understand that you can have just because it's genetically grown doesn't mean that, just because it doesn't have pesticides and stuff on it doesn't mean that it has not been genetically modified. So there's all of these things. We need to learn most people don't know how to read the serial code on the label of our fruits and vegetables, knowing that it needs to start with the 9-digit on the front. We don't even know how to buy food. And that goes back to what I was saying. If you can't educate yourself, I can't feed myself, then we worrying about all this other stuff. I don't care about the Epstein's files. I don't like pedophiles. I don't support pedophiles. I don't want any children getting hurt. But that's not an immediate problem for me and my family right now.
I feel like I use it as an example.
Yeah, no, I get it. But like a lot of people are talking about it all over social media, but they're not looking at what laws were just passed.
Yeah.
Did your mayor just raise your property taxes? Did this just happen? Like there's stuff,
sometimes
I don't know these people that was on, I don't know nobody that was on Epstein's Island. I don't know nobody, none of my friends can go. Like it's really not my world.
It's really just a distraction.
Exactly, which is what I was saying. We're in the time of distraction and deception. And then who created the Epstein file? It was the FBI. When black people started trusting the FBI's documentation on anything, y'all gonna trust with the FBI? I'm like, I'm just not worried about it, man. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I like to deal with what's real and what's in front of me, and that's food, that's shelter, that's education, and we've got to focus on that. How to defend yourself. Like that's what my life is about. That's what this school is about. That's what I'm always pushing. I get the hot topics, but it goes back to what I was saying. Letting that knock you off the goal, and as long as you got your eyes set on what the goal is, well, let's go after that. Or let's die in the pursuit of the goal, not for a moment of outrage, not for an emotional outburst. No, what's the goal? Because they'll get you to pull you out. So, lock them up. Right. You did this. I triggered him. He's agitated. He's emotionally charged. And now.
Yeah. And that's part of that fear that I feel like, comes over people. Which is understandably so. You should have some type of concept of consequences.
I don't think our people are afraid of dying. You can tell by the way they live their life in the neighborhood. They're shooting. It's a goal problem. What are you willing to die for? And that's the problem. They're willing to die for their gang, for their group, for the things that they feel like they control. It's their territory.
That's a good point, man.
That's what they feel, but it's not. The reality is that they don't own that block. You don't own this street. You don't own that house. You can't even make drugs. You can't even make guns.
That's a good point.
Everything is an illusion, and we got to get out of the deception and buying into that and keep getting triggered and pulled outside. Let's get back to let's establish what's our goal, what's our purpose.
Right. So it's not a matter of fear. It's just a matter of what's more important to you.
Well, yeah. I don't think they're afraid. They may be afraid of incarceration to an extent. Yeah. So they fear what the response is to what they're doing, but not necessarily, I'm not afraid to pull out a gun and squeeze it at you. I'm just afraid of what may happen if you catch me after I do it. Right. That's not the same thing. Like that's different than I'm willing to run up on you. And those are different conversations, and it's a different mindset. But you also got to be in their shoes to really understand their mindset. I can only tell you about what I think, because I'm not a product of that environment. I see it, and I see the effects that it has on my students. So I do have I do understand it, but from my lens. And I think black folks also, we need to recognize, stop acting like like, I can't act like I know your struggle. I can empathize with you,
Right.
and I understand it, but I'm willing to listen to you tell me about it. So I can get an appreciation for it, but an appreciation is different than me saying, no, I know what you mean. Like, no, no, man, if I ain't sleeping in that car in the cold when it's shivering and dealing with the elements, and like, I can imagine what that's like, but I don't know. And just like you may not be known if I got $1 million worth of mortgages and the debt, and I got people I got to take care of. Like during COVID, I still paid all my people all during COVID. School was closed. It wasn't open. It was a burden. It's something I had to take on. Nobody's going to know that except another business owner knows what that's like when you've got to support and put everybody on your back and push forward through something that you didn't even cause. It wasn't, wasn't like I made a mistake and my business is closed. So we all go through things, but we got to stay focused on what the goal was. And I knew I had a plan. Hey, put this much in savings, do this, do that, because a rainy day is coming. And we need to have these conversations with each other. What's your rainy day fund? Like, where is it? Do you have one? If you have one, where are you keeping it? Is it in a stock? Is it in these conversations we got to have with each other so that we can start to stand on our own. But if you're afraid if you get fired tomorrow, how I'm gonna eat tomorrow, it kind of make you, what we talking about? But we need to work that job 10 years. Give yourself a goal. Say, hey, I'm gonna put up 10% of my income. I'm gonna put it here so I can be free. And so my children can then, so they'll never have to work or and vice versa. And if we do that, I think we can get back on track and we don't have to have, then the distractions, we don't have to be fooled by it so much because we now don't have to pay no attention to it because we focus back on our goal. But, so that's my 2 cents.
Cool.
But I'm no politician, man, and I'm not a political scientist.
Maybe not, man, but you are definitely well educated. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Smart guy. Stan, you making me. I need to go back home and work on my questions. But let me see. I got 2 more questions.
Sure.
Do you think it is time for a revolution?
What's the definition of a revolution? I think we have to define that because a revolution 100 years ago is different than what it is now. If we're talking about a revolution that we need to make a serious and impactful, meaningful change, absolutely. Do I think we should take to the streets with guns? No. We don't have enough guns, we ain't got enough bullets, and we ain't got no place that we own to even run back to. It would be a slaughter. With the technology and the things that the government and that the Army has, we're not ready for that. And we would be setting ourselves up for a slaughter. But that does not mean that I don't think that we need a major shift in mindset, in action, in attainable, calculated mission. Absolutely. But we got to have a conversation on what that's supposed to look like. But I don't think that we need a physical gun war or anything like that, if that's what you mean by a revolution, because it means different things to different people.
Yeah, no, it means just however you want to perceive it. It can be. I actually agree with you. We don't have the equipment and infrastructure to go to war with. They got stuff that we don't even know about. They got stuff that'll zap you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's that.
I don't think it's needed either. I think this country is about capitalism. Control your dollars, you control your world. And I think if we do that, we can institute everything that we need. We can build our own Black Wall Street back again, our own schools. We can buy land. We don't necessarily got to get the government to sanction us. We can just buy all the properties in there. You can go, if you got enough money, buy a whole block. If you offer everybody in that house the right amount of money, they'll sell it. That's what this country does. We just need to control our dollars, have our plan together, and have a plan that's going to provide us with starting with our essential needs first. That's our education, our food supply, and our medical care. Once we can do that, then, we can start doing whatever that we want to do at that point. I mean, every other area, they control their community. We're the only race, no matter where you go in the country. We've got other people that own restaurants in our neighborhood. You can't open up a soul food place in Chinatown and nowhere in America. They're not that they're gonna physically come shut you down. They're just not going to support your business. You're gonna go out of business. But if we started doing that, we could start growing that already. If we're already in this area, let's say we're only gonna support certain things in this area. And you start from there. And you know what that looks for, but I'm in no mean advocating that everybody go to the street and take out guns. Absolutely not. That's absolutely crazy and it's suicidal. And
I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
No, I agree, man. If you would have said it, I'd have been cool with it though. I ain't got no problem. So, cool. Thank you, bro. Dude, man, you super educated, man.
No.
Cool. So when we talk about fighters, man, inside the ring, outside the ring, in life, in competition, doesn't matter. When we talk about fighters, who's the strongest fighter you know?
The strongest fighter I know I would say would be my father. Mm-hmm. I had the pleasure of watching him from, I think I was 30 when, I'm sorry, he was 30 when I was born. So I've had the privilege of watching him grow and mature as a man. I've watched him bury both his parents. I've watched him bury his grandparents. I've watched him bury his wife, my mother, and then I also watched how he embraced death when it was his time and he passed away 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I think as for a man myself, having the ability to watch a man go through all of the various phases of life, true phases of life, from, we were never like poor, but I've watched us go from, having certain clothes to having a bigger house. Well, when I was first born, we were living in an apartment. Then they bought a house. Then they bought a bigger house. And then they started investing in real estate, buying multiple properties, all while taking care of my grandparents, who they provided everything that they need. I watched them take care of elders, and I watched them simultaneously raise 3 boys. And then I watched them transition through various jobs, dealing with all of the stress and things that had to go on with that. And then at the end of his life, I watched him openly embrace passing, and did it in a way that I would want to go out without, with all his pride intact, knowing that he accomplished everything that he set to in his life. And I think when you're at the end and you didn't achieve what you were capable of achieving, I think that you may embrace death a little differently than somebody at the end. I remember sitting with him, and he was sitting in his chair, and he took a deep breath, and he just turned and he said, "I had a good life." And I think, what more do we want at the end?
Yeah, that's a good way to go.
Than to say, "I had a good life." So, I didn't experience all of his struggles, but I seen him through the different phases. So to me, now I've read about men that have done some great things, but when you ask me, to me, what I saw, what I experienced, and I had the privilege of experiencing him for over 40 years daily, that would be my answer. And his name again is Philip Eugene Hedden. So I always want to pour out libation and give respect to my ancestors as well. I always mention him, but I also always like to mention his partner in life, my mother, Dr. Nadine Hedden, as well, because they worked in tandem, always as a group, as a unit, as a family. So I saw the strength of that, and I see what happens when you don't have it, and how life can take that turn as well. So that's my answer. That's my answer for a fighter. He was a soldier, somebody that was in the war, actually fighting and shooting and killing people for real, as opposed to sport fighting in a ring, but then also was able to transition back. And we don't know what people that went through Vietnam and wars and the things that they saw and went through, and to be able to keep that trauma bottled in, to still raise 3 healthy sons, be there for your wife, take care of your parents as they age, and then turn around. So that's my answer, and there it is in a nutshell.
All right. Last question, man. What is some words of wisdom, or maybe a quote, or some wisdom that you live by, that you like to keep for yourself, that you teach your students, and how would you like to share that to the people that will watch this?
I think one of the most important things in life, no matter what you're focused on or what your goals and ambitions are, don't underestimate the value of being disciplined. Undisciplined people create a lot more obstacles for themselves. So put discipline high up on your list of attributes that you want to attempt to master. I don't believe that you ever master anything, but something that you want to keep going on. Find a purpose and a goal for yourself, and create a code for yourself. I think every man should have a code that they live by, some principles and ideas that you are not going to compromise on, that will allow you to sleep at night, to always have a restful night's sleep, because you've lived and died by your code. Everything else in life, we're always going to have pitfalls, ups and downs. And just remember, it's always about how you respond to the adversity, not the adversity itself, but how we respond. And I think if you're disciplined, if we're set on our mission, and we respond with intelligence and with laser focus, you can overcome any and everything. Always keep in mind that your most important thing to always focus on is your health. Without health, you have nothing. And that goes for mental, spiritual health as well. So do not fall victim to being an unhealthy person in whatever realm, however you want to apply that to, whether it's your emotional health, spiritual, or physical. They are all equally important, and you got to take care of them, because you spend your time working or doing whatever other distractions. If you don't have your health, it won't mean nothing. They can't bury you with any material things. It's just your health. Your health will keep you here for your family. It will keep you here for your children. It will keep you here for long enough to achieve your purpose, and just keep that going. I appreciate everybody out there for tuning in, for following this brother and his mission. Let's like all of his posts, share all of his posts, share everything that he's doing. He's got a mission of his own, and I implore everybody, do your part and help push this brother forward. Each one teach one, each one help another one. Man, and we're gonna be great, all of us.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ashe, peace.
Ashe.